We're listening to Rory next. I've also worked with Rory before, one-to-one and Elevate. So Rory has said, oh, this is going to be a treat, folks. This song is part of a series of songs about a woman executed for murder in 1850. The song here is about the jury's doubts when weighing up the evidence in the case. Okay, I love it already. Rudy says, to my ears, the lyrics to this at times sound contrived. I was trying to get all the facts of a real life court case across, which meant I was having to bend the rhyming scheme. But I'm wondering if I went too far, especially at the wordy bit about medicine and poison. Is it too wordy? I used a rap style of line to try and make the wordiness work. I'm also not sure if it's clear to the audience what is meant in the jury asking for mercy at the end. This type of song is one where you sort of do need to be able to carry the story, kind of musical theatre type piece that we're about to hear. So it does get to a stage where it is important that the facts are there and the story is understandable and that we can follow along. So this will be really interesting, folks, to listen along. So feedback from all of the radical songwriters, that's you, would be great. And then in parenthesis, the automatic sentence for murder in 1850 was death. But the jury could ask for mercy if they could justify it, to have the sentence commuted to life or transportation. Everybody loves Rory in the Facebook group. We've got a live Facebook group and Rory's always posting every Saturday. We've got Songshare Saturday. If you're not a member of the free Facebook group, go and join it and you can post your song on a Saturday and people will listen and give you feedback. Right, let's jump in. This is Rory and then I'll tell you where you can find him after we've heard this. I'm very excited.
Sitting in a room with 14 other people making judgment on our case we don't have skill to figure out the truth of, and I'm scared that I will make mistakes and send a woman to her death and leave a daughter with no loving mother. This doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense, there's too many gaps in the case evidence. Feeling pressure to convict her on the strength of circumstance, she forced a signature for £20 and there's no certain evidence she took or spent it, or she ever meant to kill her husband's sister with a fatal dose of arsenic. This doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense, there's too many gaps in the case evidence. Her forgery's plain to see, of that she's so guilty. There's no money in the vicinity of herself and her immediate family. Where is the motive, the reason for crime of murderous intent? There is no clear sign. 14 weeks' wages are no cause for murder. Medicine and arsenic in the house could have caused an accidental poisoning. But she sat in silence, she gave no defense. The summing ups and the Crown's evidence are all we have to decide on her guilt or her innocence. How can we decide without having doubt and keeping our consciences clear? We cannot prove beyond doubt she's guilty, but we cannot prove beyond doubt it's accidental either. There is no help with this choice. There is no help with this choice. How can we decide without having doubt? We We are keeping our consciences clear. We are keeping our consciences clear. We are on our own. On the strength of what we see, there's no evidence of theft. There's no motive for murder, but no proof of accident. With no defense and the weight of crown evidence, the poisonous infliction needs a conviction. Without doubt, we have a doubt about her judgment's safety. We find her guilty. We plead for mercy from the crown to salve our guilt. And then sit down.
Wow, fantastic. Applause emojis from everybody. Rory, I really love this production. I kind of didn't expect it to be so like grungy and grimy and electronic-y. So a couple of things I'd say though about that production, even though I think as a palette. So if you want to think about your music production, right, you can think about like a palette of paint. So you can throw things into a piece and you're essentially trying to come up with this palette, like what are the textures I'm going to use? What kind of sounds am I going to use? I'm going to create this painter's palette from which I'll pull from, and then I'll make the song. And I feel like this song has a very clear palette of production, of sounds. When we look into production a little bit more though, we've got lots of stuff going on in each of the ears. We've got like a synth panned to the left when the vocals come in. I found that completely distracted me from hearing the words. I know this is only a demo and this isn't a music production critique, but it was just to say, like, to be able to clearly hear, I think a piece like this needs to be very, very clear to be able to hear all the words, because there are a lot of words. I don't think it's too wordy though in any way. I think the delivery of your vocals is really clear, but there's a lot of competing instrumentation that maybe just doesn't need to be there specifically at the very, very start when the vocals come in. So I would kind of pull that synth out of the left and just pull it back into the side and bring it down a little bit. Another thing I'd say is your song's quite short. It's only 3 minutes 49, and I think for a pop song, you'd say that's decent, maybe even a bit long. But for this genre, you could extend the song a little bit and just pepper the story out a little bit more throughout the piece. Like, I think you could easily add on an extra 30 seconds, maybe even a whole minute to that, and it wouldn't feel like it's dragging at all. In terms of dynamics, like that's what kept coming up for me was dynamics. We go in like the really cool dynamic with that cool synth when you've got the sort of triplet thing coming in, like that was really cool. I mean, it sets a dynamic. It's strong, it's powerful, you know, even though there's not loads and loads going on, but there's a real strong energy there. And then we quite quickly end up in that banging big chorus, which I love. But I'm just wondering if we could actually maybe elongate that dynamic coming in. That could come in later. That could be the total peak, because then you've got this really awesome part of the song where we just come down to an electric keyboard, and then you bring in more narrative there. That would be really, really cool. And then we go into the big, huge climax of the piece. But I do think you could extend it a little bit. And I think that might help in terms of pacing as well, when you're looking at how much information that you want to put in. You can get really wordy. Look at Hamilton, right? The musical, the rap hip hop musical. You can get really wordy. It's essentially a story that you're telling it. There is a lot of spoken word in this. It's kind of sing talk, half sing, half talk, spoken word, music, all mixed in together. So I wouldn't worry about it being too wordy, as long as the words that you're choosing in that order are clear, they're understandable, that you're explaining the story. I would much rather have an extra sentence that explained the next sentence I'm about to hear than me to just be completely lost. So it's not necessarily, it needs less words to be stronger. More words can make it stronger as long as the narrative is clear. Great work. Great work. I'm going to read what some folk have said. about your song. Amy, feels like something Scar would sing in The Lion King. I love it. Yeah, Rory, you've got a great voice. Great voice for this. Lois said, love it. Like a Scottish Lin-Manuel. Oh, well, that's it. Hamilton, right? Lin-Manuel Miranda. Love the gritty vocals. Mara Jane says, wow, that's awesome. It reminds me of the Pet Shop Boys. Oh, I can see that. Interesting lyrics. It's a strong story. I can really see that, actually. Kenzie Mac music. I like the medicine poisoning thing. It's great because it's like stop and then into more gentle musical vibe dynamic. The evidence, the innocence. It's a great rhyme. This is a hell of a journey slash story. Ragbag of Contradiction says, hi, Rory. I love your songs. They're so atmospheric. This is another great one. They also say, a wee thought, are you the lyrics? If you go through them, you can take out loads of the little ones, like, but, with, the, her, etc., and it will still make sense. That's a great little bit of feedback there. Absolutely. Hans, surprising piece of work. At first, too many lyrics without a breather. I felt distant from the song. Then the break in the middle is very welcome and gets me a bit back into the song. It gets me into the song, then the different voices come in and I feel a bit distant again. It may work in the context of other songs. Okay, that's great to know. Send me your songs, submit your songs, and we could be playing you in the Friday Feedback Club. See you all next week, if not before. Cheerio! Bye!